jumping back in. So, in terms of the potential discourse with a family member or discourse being able to find your center in terms of ending a mental loop that you have yourself in, we've talked about being able to just take a pause in that and make sure that you are fed, you're sleeping well, your mental and emotional hygiene, your spiritual and energetic hygiene are tip top. And then being able to approach this from a embodied place. It does not serve this energy to come from a place that's not rooted in your physical, tangible body, especially when it comes to family. I feel like this energy potentially in Gemini season is inviting you to um, put into practice ways of showing up in conflict and mental confusion that breaks a lot of like mental confusion in terms of how your family has always done something, how your family has always resolved conflict, or how to show up and be a support to your family. It does not serve you to perpetuate cycles and to perpetuate patterns that your family has. A second part of this message that I get is having to do with like mental concern and you're in a mental loop regarding your health in some way. The bloodstone here to me denotes something with like the glandular system, like the endocrine system. And if there is something that is off hormonally or having to do with like your blood, since this is bloodstone, or like your heart, your vascular system, how things are being absorbed at a blood and cellular level, it does not serve you to be up here in your head about it. It's like, how can you get down into your body? To me, Gemini season is inviting us to get down into our bodies. I feel like Taurus season is always an invitation to be more embodied, to get in touch with the senses. And I feel like that message is being continued into Gemini season because we are going from the element of earth in Taurus season up into the element of air. There is the possibility and there is the potential for us to become fragmented and to not forget and not to abandon the rootedness in our body. So to invite in practices of breath work, to invite in practices of movement, moving meditation, body work, any type of practice that can allow you to remember your body, to remember your breath, to pair the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual aspects of you as a person into your thought process and your mental experience. So I'm going to go ahead and move into our next minor arcana card, which is going to be the Nine of Swords. So if the Nine of Swords shows up in a reading, I view this energy as you are having anxiety, you're having depression, you are potentially having nightmares, you're having unproductive sleep, that there might be things that are happening in your life that are bringing up worry and stress and concern at such a level that you're not even able to get rest at night, that you are um, not even being able to have like your soul and your spirit and your emotions rest at the end of the day once you go to bed. To me, the Nine of Swords is like a subconscious level of worry and concern that's just a running system. It's a running story. And this card coming out is bringing your awareness and asking you to kind of put a stop to that story. It's just like a system or an app running in your body and your mind that it's draining your battery. It's actually draining your life force energy. It's not allowing you to, first and foremost, rest and to restore yourself when you go to bed, but it's also draining how fully you can show up in your day to day life, how much impact you can have in your passions, in what it is that you're desiring to do with your life. Um, the Nine of Swords energy is like the second deacon of Gemini. So if you are a Gemini and your birthday is like the second or third week of the season, this could be a part of your constitution that you just know that you have a hard time with. You have a hard time skirting and moving through the stresses of life or your fears or worries that come up in your body. Um, Astrologically, this is like Saturn in Gemini energy or Uranus in Gemini energy. And to me, that really does speak to like these bigger world macro level things deeply affecting you, deeply affecting you on a day to day basis, bigger macro level happenings and occurrences in your life, in your profession, in your personal relationship, in your finances, having a deep, deep current in terms of your day to day comings and going, and not ever really having the ability to really slough and refresh yourself. So, if any of that resonates and feels like you, I'm going to pull more cards so that you can have support. So I'm going to clarify this with the Crystal Oracle deck that I've been using. Okay. Oh, so that's going to be the one. And we have Herkimer Diamond. Oh, okay. Herkimer Diamond with the Nine of Swords. This, to me, in this moment, so this is going to be a very energetic part of our reading. Very spiritual, very soul level message. Is the Herkimer Diamond here is showing up like um, this quartz crystal sword that wants to kind of like slice through confusion and slice through stories, but stories that run so deep into who you are. It's like almost like you were born to this world with like just this innate fear. It honestly, it feels like a phobia. So if however that applies to you, if you feel like in your entire life you've always had this like larger than life fear, and this larger than life concern that is just hard to shake, that it's perpetual. Gemini season is offering like this huge, like almost like a cord cutting, this huge clearing and this huge clarity moment, almost like this magician aha moment that I spoke about earlier, to reset you at a soul level. Um, for lack of a better term, it feels like a come to Jesus moment. This could be a very big, like, spiritual awakening. This could just be a very big real life awakening of, oh, I've been living my life in this way, and now this person, this occurrence, this happening has like landed in front of me and is literally slicing away all of the bullshit. It's slicing away the fear, it's slicing away all of the self-imposed limitations. And for some people there are like externally imposed limitations that have been put on you, and I feel like this is an occurrence, this is an happening, this is an opportunity that is going to be slicing it away for you. Bringing it down to the human plane, I do get like sometime during Gemini season, if you have been feeling like deeply encroached by a fear or a worry or a concern, that you just haven't been able to get over or get ahead of or break through it, something, an occurrence, an opportunity, a conversation, a mentor, a teacher, someone, potentially something, is going to come about in this season, potentially like the second and third week of Gemini season, to help get you over that hump, to help honestly bring this breakthrough, to help this breakthrough arrive. So let's see if there's anything else that I want to say about that. So I'm really being brought to like the bed, the bedroom, your where you sleep, your bedding, how your bed is positioned. I feel like Gemini season is a really great time for revamping your bedroom, redecorating, doing an energetic clearing on your bedroom. We still are technically in like late spring, so some spring cleaning, removing clutter, removing furniture and items out of your bedroom that does not allow it to be a restful, restorative space. Um, Take that however it resonates, however it applies. Like maybe this means you get new sheets if you haven't washed your bedding yet. Wash your bedding. Clean out from underneath the bed. If there's clutter, dust, vacuum, spray, use incense, bring in sound. If you don't feel equipped to do the type of like energetic and soulful clearing that you need for your bedroom, ask for help. Have a professional come in, have someone come in to support you resetting and clearing your bedroom space so that you can have actual restorative sleep, because this to me just feels like there is um, there is something looming. It's potentially just been looming over you in your day to day life as a byproduct of a some type of relationship dynamic, some sort of interaction that you've had, and now it's been brought into the bedroom and it just needs to be cleared out. And it's just looming over the space where you're supposed to be resting and interacting potentially with your dreams. So if you have been having um, alarming dreams, uncomfortable dreams, nightmares, this is saying that by doing like an energetic clearing, it can help support that. We did get another card earlier that was talking about like clearing the heart. Um, and so I do feel like there is this theme of just Gemini season is asking us bring in fresh energy and to move stagnancy physically, emotionally, spiritually. Okay. Uh, Almost final minor arcana card, Ten of Swords. This, when this card comes up in a reading, it is like the last mental fatigue point before like a breakthrough. The sword suit in general, the way I engage and relate to those to this suit in the tarot is like this is when you're going through like ascension symptoms. Like you are really being asked to elevate, evolve, and grow as a person, and so you are potentially going through like a dark night of the soul. You are having really uncomfortable conversations, you are having friendships or relationships end, you are potentially having um, the closure of jobs, you're moving homes, you're having like health or physical things happen that are challenging you as a person. And it feels like you are at your breaking point. That's usually when the Ten of Swords card comes out in a reading. But the whole purpose of the Ten of Swords is to get you to a breaking point, to get you to a growth edge so that you can break through and become anew, so that you can start a whole new cycle of how you're showing up energetically, how you're communicating, how you're thinking, and also how you're carrying yourself. How the Ten of Swords corresponds to Gemini. This is the third decan of Gemini energy. So it's the final weeks of Gemini season. And it corresponds to like Venus and Gemini energy. If you have a birthday, like during the last weeks of May, um, through the middle of June through like the 20th of June, this could be speaking to just your constitution in general. Um, to be very aware of how you hold yourself back from those growth edges and those breakthroughs. Whether that is like you're holding yourself back to preserve yourself, to not experience heartache, to not experience grief, to not experience loss. How can you really challenge yourself to really meet those growth edges so that you can break through into the highest version, the highest octave of yourself? So I'm going to pull a crystal card to get more information or clarify. All right. and the selenite card jumped out. So this is our like third crystal card that we've received in this reading that is speaking about like clearing and sloughing off energy. Selenite is directly related in terms of like mineral composition to halite. Selenite and halite are both gypsums, and they are related to salt, which is a very cleansing and clearing and protective mineral. Having to do with the Ten of Swords, you are being asked to cleanse and clear the ways that you have not shown up to your growth edges, to challenge, to opposition. And I do get the dream space again, but it's more so showing up as like dream space nightmares, but also like waking, walking nightmares. Like if you are just an anxious person, like it's easy for you to become physiologically stressed and anxious. You're being invited to become very aware of like your root energy and your crown energy of like to combat anxiety. Um, a better word for that to me is like heal. And like, do not take this advice in replace of your healthcare or mental health providers. Um, but you're being invited to look at, instead of the fear that anxiety really thrives and lives on, is like future timelines of like what could happen or what possibility of failure or um, injury could befall me, instead of being so present in future grievance, future misalignments. How can you be present in like the day, um in the moment of like how supported you are, how you are served by your current life. What do you have at your disposal in terms of like health, food, resources, breath, your body, the positive things that are going on with your health. And then also, what is your relationship with like a higher power, whether you believe in God, a deity, the universe, elemental spirits, devas, Orisha, Loa, like having a balance in your gratitude for what is underneath your feet, what is underneath your bottom, like where you rest your head, where you go to receive money, like what do you do for work, and then also like what is your connection with like the greater scheme of like the purpose of it all in terms of a spiritual or religious foundation. If you have both of those things, if you have a gratitude practice, if you have a relationship with God, or a deity or a belief system, I feel like we're being invited in Gemini season to really allow that to permeate more of our life. How can you deepen in the gratitude practice? How can you deepen in the spiritual or religious beliefs and practices? Okay. And then I need to get another instance going because these little flies are not the jam. So we are going to do our final card for this reading. This is part 2 if you missed part 1 because my live got interrupted for the Gemini season forecast. So if any of these messages are resonating and serving you, I invite you to watch part 1. That will be available on my channel. So our final card is the Knight of Swords. And 18. This is my honorable mention for Gemini season. Um, this is my honorable mention for the energetic of Gemini because the Knight of Sword to me is such a mercurial, moving, communicative Gemini energy that whenever it shows up in a reading, I give voice to Gemini in some way. Or maybe it has to do with like the person receiving the reading, or even like the season of Gemini in terms of like whatever the inquiry is for the person I'm reading. So the Nine of Swords speaks of communication. It is correspondence. It is sending off mail, sending out invitations, receiving invitations. It also a little bit to me has to do with travel, but it really is about like the analytical brain and communication. And so this showing up as our honorable mention for this forecast is very much highlighting like this is the time, this is the season to submit paperwork, to start an application process, to be writing if you are a writer, if you write poetry, if there is an analytical mercurial edge to your craft, a hobby. Like, I really feel like you will shine and you will make a lot of progress this season if you can devote time to that practice, to that craft. And we're going to do a clarifying card. I do get like communication edge. This season, Gemini season, it's being highlighted and it's being offered for us to have the conversations that maybe we've been being put off, to start conversations. I'm also getting like speeches, like if you're invited to speak at an event, if you're invited to host something, if you're being invited in your work, or in your dharma to really show up and use your voice, you are being heavily supported and guided to do so. um, that there is something very important about your unique voice and the messages you have to offer, that if it's brought forward at this time during this season, it could greatly benefit not just you embodying that, but also the people who are in position to hear you and to be on the receiving end of what it is that you have to say. The card that we're getting to clarify is tourmaline. This is another energetic clearing stone and mineral. It's not related to salt, it's not a gypsum. I refer to tourmaline as like energetic and spiritual Ajax. Like, tourmaline is going to scrub an energy clean. It is going to almost in the way that like antibiotics work in the body. Like, antibiotics clear out like the bad bacteria or potential infection, but they also kind of take away the good as well. It just kind of sloughs everything off energetically and spiritually. That's what Ajax does. That's what Ajax does. That's what tourmaline does as well. It takes kind of a little bit of the good, but it takes most of the bad with it to leave you with a fresh start. And so I feel like this is to the people who have resistance, or they have blocks with sharing their voice. Um, and it doesn't matter how those blocks got there, whether they are like self built or whether they were imposed upon you. Gemini season is asking you to completely obliterate that constitution, that energy that is keeping you from sharing your voice, from speaking in front of others, from writing the book, writing the poetry, writing the manual, offering the course, spearheading an idea, spearheading a movement, a collective, whatever has been keeping you from feeling like you're not worthy, or you don't know enough, or you don't have enough wisdom. The tourmaline is here to say, that's bullshit. How can you step out of your way and allow that to fall? This black tourmaline energy is very much giving me like the tower card energy, which is related to Mars. It has some Scorpio and some Aries energetics in it. But it's like, where within yourself can you allow this tower to come down? These beliefs, these ways of being that are keeping you from stepping into your voice and sharing your voice. How can you allow like the end of an era, the end of a a rulership that you've had, this dominion you've had over your life, to fall so that a new regime can be born? And that's just very interesting coming out, having to do what's going on in the world politically. But this is our completion of our reading. Thank you so much for being here. If you found resonance and support in this reading, please like the video. Please comment below. Let me know what you thought. If any of this resonated and you'd like to go deeper as to how these energies and how these themes could be showing up in your life, and you'd like very unique and specific individual guidance of how to work with it, the link to book a virtual reading with me is below. I would love to have you and support you during the season. And thank you again for being here. If the video was a support to you, please share it with someone in your life. I do offer weekly energy forecasts on Patreon. You can join any tier to receive the forecast, and the tiers range from $5 up to $20 to $33. So I would love to have you in that space if it's calling. And I'm sending you so much love. May the season of Gemini be growing and clarifying and cleansing for you. And I will see you soon.